Getting sick of this couch yet? Me either. Hey everybody, this is Retrokid Reviews, and yes, this is a back-to-back DC video, which was going to be me covering, Batman R.I.P. with the entire Bat family, but this news is so late-breaking, I couldn't pass it up. And sorry if my eyes and my face feel like I just went a whole mood. Um, yeah, for other reasons, personal life stuff, nothing crazy, just to be perfectly honest. That being said, Dan DiDio left DC today while I was about to do stuff like talk about Alfred R.I.P. in the Real Alfred Hood sense, but now I might have to retcon that video. Much like everyone in DC's editorial staff is probably having a fun time retconning all the stuff Dan was doing last 2.5 years, and yeah, for those who don't know, I'm not a big fan like everybody else with Heroes in Crisis. Honestly, the book was okay. In concept, it was just sticking to whatever Tom was thinking and not what Dan was going to use as to mass screw over every single legacy character, which, yeah, he had a history doing that last year. But, yeah, I'm reading through Linkar's Twitter thread, and I highly recommend just following to Lewis's Twitter in general, because he's probably going to break down so many years of Dan just screwing up in general. I won't go through any of the stuff that might be in the Dan might get canceled regardless of the situation. But I am gonna get to my personal one that I'm currently reading through, is him screwing over Stephanie Brown and Cassandra Cain, back rolls in both their cases. Specifically in the Pooh 52, yeah, Dan, for those who don't know, was a head editorial manager, basically what Jeff Johns should have had as the job, honestly. Head of DC for about since 2010, but was been employed since 2002. Long story short, he had an 18-year career down the toilet because he just hates legacy characters that bad. Among various other things that I literally do not have time in this phone to cover. Believe me, this is a bit of a celebration. I think Nightwing 01 thought the same thing too with his Stream Card 2. He's breaking down most of a whole plethora of other stuff Dan has screwed over the years. And if you're a Transformers fan, oh, this has got to be some great long 25 plus year old shot for you guys too, because yeah, long before Dan had the job being at DC, he was in charge of working with Beast Wars at the time, specifically the last half of that entire series. And for those who don't know, he was rebooting stuff long before New 52. That's just me putting it bluntly. Where do I think is going to be career wise? Hopefully indie books, honestly. Mostly if he goes to Image, he's gonna get noticed. He's gonna get some eyes on him regardless. Like, he screws over like one minor detail in like a Spawn book, Todd's gonna know. Same with making his own characters. Todd's gonna want to keep an eye on him. If he goes to Marvel, if he does anything with Spider-Man, I swear, if he, this is just me overthinking things going forward, but as of here and now, for legacy characters, yeah, Linkara was mentioning stuff like, when, Stephanie Brown passed away in the pre-New 52, she didn't get a memorial. Keep in mind, this was back when she was a Robin, and before she was the spoiler, and not the term for spoilers, her gimmick was all about, spoiling evil guys, Z tier like villains' plans and stuff like that to screw them over for the cops and things like that. Got kind of retconned in New 52 with her dad being a villain too, Z Great as well. Long story, her and Tim Drake were like the Ed couple to be in general, kind of like in like the not Oliver, Green Arrow and I just saw Birds of Prey, Black Canary kind of way, and yeah, Dan didn't like her at all. Apparently, to the point where he was refusing to leave a memorial statue that the Batcave has normally for Jason. And if I was real Nerf Hood, I'd be like, "What the hell, Dan?" and stuff like that. Yeah, it turns out he kept that going until Jeff Johns had to put the damn statue in there. I guess prior again to New 52. Also wasn't a big fan of Cassandra Cain either. And for those who aren't reading the current, uh, I guess DC's their attempt at a Marvel Zombies. They had their first spin-off book with Jason and Cass being the only surviving members of the Bat family. I'm pretty sure there's a video. I think Comic Drake might have did a cover that. I could be wrong. If not, I'll do Comic Historian or anybody else who made a quick video essay on it. So yeah, that's good. That's a good book. I'm gonna plug there too on the cards. My personal opinion on Dan DiDio, I wasn't a big fan of him. He was a good guy. Maybe in the early 2000s, maybe he had an idea. I don't think he knows what he's doing the last 10 of those years, to be perfectly blunt. I think the New 52 was a great idea right up until you started doing it. Convergence was a great proof of concept that, yes, you really should have legacy characters. Yes, you really should have a conclusion to any, like, run that somebody liked and just put it in the multiverse, honestly. Yes, you really should have Superman have a son. You should let people, move forward and not stay hovering around their 20s for the rest of their lives. This isn't Marvel. This isn't insert whatever comic universe here. This is DC. They want to move on. They want to do things forward, and it's kind of how it is on certain occasions, and this was not one of them. And, what even sucks more for Dan is that he probably got this news the weekend before he had to go to C2E2. Chicago Con, basically their Comic Con, and it's big. Like, down here in New York, Comic Con big, so that's gotta sting, to be honest with Dan. He's not better. I mean, for all we know, and for all I've heard so far over the years, he never made a tweet storm like most Marvel creators do when one of their SJW books don't work. Again, something I didn't want to cover because it was just too hot, too drama related, honestly. And that all being said, I'm just happy that this finally happened. I think the main reason, and I think Talk of the Countdown, is that Dan was planning another crisis, and that means he was probably going to kill off more legacy characters. And I think anyone who was on the chopping block was probably Tim, because he got renamed just Drake in the Young Justice book, which I clearly don't know why. Like, he was doing just fine as Red Robin, or just a Robin in general, and Bendis was okay with it. Like, when you're pissing Bendis off, you know you're doing something wrong, honestly. That's just me. Hopefully later this week I'll do a formal video with Jason and Bat Family and Company. Speaking of, I'm pretty sure the one decision I'm actually okay with at first was Alfred staying dead, because if anything, give him a year wait, like a 1 year later, and they all just kind of realize maybe they suck just as they are, and maybe should work together more. If that was the through line, knowing Danny would have just prolonged that obvious conclusion, but that's just me thinking that forward. I'm also heard that, speaking of Bat Family members, Dick Grayson is Dick Grayson again. He's Richard Grayson. He's not Rick, or what Nightwing 01 kept calling him, Chris O'Donnell Robin. So for those who want to see my Batman Forever review when I was doing Bat Month, that there. End cards finally also. Go to my previous video when I was talking about the bat suit for Robert Pattinson. Update for that as well. The stunt guy got some spy shots of what the full suit looks like. Keep in mind it was just a motorcycle. He didn't have the cape and everything yet. My best guess, that's going to be a racing gimmick. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a toy out there, or like something in the comics to prove that they have multiple suits for multiple occasions and multiple weathers. Along those lines, I'm still shaking, and for the shake itself, other hand here, to sub to my channel to see continuing coverage of anything Dan will say after the fact. Again, like I said earlier, I highly recommend sitting through mainly your favorite comic YouTubers, Twitter, just seeing just in my case for Linkar's entire Twitter thread, just going on and on about all of the stupid decisions Dan has made over the years. Keep in mind, more will be coming. Just whoever you follow are going to probably say along the same lines, have their own personal opinions, myself included, both in and out of characters, Jason, but that's just me. With that all being said, later, bye Dan, good freaking luck somewhere else. That's starting this whole new year for DC Strong. God thank them for that, and can we make the multiverse more of a thing? Now that he's not here, can we get just something going? Please.